on creativity at the Rosette. There's so much to learn from artists who've changed the world. And here at the Rosette, when the stage isn't ringing with music, I like to sit down with inspiring guests to explore one secret they've learned living a life in creativity. I'm Matt Hinsley, and today I'm talking about gratitude with guitar icon Pepe Romero. Pepe, thank you so much for coming and having a conversation with me here in the Rosette. It is an honor to have you with us in Austin, honor to have you with me right here, right now.
It is my pleasure, and you know how much I enjoy our conversations, whether they are public or private. I enjoy it very, very much.
And me too. I've gotten so much out of our time together.
So have I.
And one of the conversations we had recently was about gratitude.
Yes.
And I have been thinking about that conversation ever since we had it. And I thought maybe we could chat a little bit more about the role gratitude plays in your life and has played in your life, kind of a little bit about where it's come from and what it does, how it operates in the world.
Gratitude, I feel, is one of the most important feelings to cultivate. Because without it, we are kind of lost. Without it, we can't, whether we are aware of it or not, but we cut our ties to the past. We don't just come out of nowhere. There is a past. There is so many people that made it possible for us to have the beautiful tools to fight all the dark side of life. And I feel it's very important to be grateful to those that gave us those tools, to those people that shine the light so that we don't fall.
Wow.
Whether it is music or just life itself, to cultivate that gratitude for those that came before us and laid the path for us, and gratitude that we have the possibility to take that light and help the new ones, the ones that are coming after us. And we can create a sort of a chain of passing it along. I feel incredibly grateful to my father. I feel incredibly grateful to my mother, who in very hard times made life at home very beautiful. While Spain was being ravaged and devastated, and political executions were a daily matter, where the military had the power to sentence somebody to death. And those somebodies, in many cases, were the friends of my family. Because being an artist tend to believe and nurture and adore liberty. Liberty of thought, liberty of the mind, and liberty to express yourself. And so I grew up in a very scary outside environment, but through music, through their love, through my mother's incredible passion for literature, and passing that along to my brothers and I, gave us the strength to believe. She never stopped believing. When I play the music of composers, you and I were talking a minute ago about Mauro Giuliani.
Yes.
Mauro Giuliani, to me, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite composers, which he is, but he's one of my dearest friends. He's one of my dearest friends because I am passionately grateful to somebody that was able to put in paper and leave us how to use the guitar as an explosion of joy. When I play Giuliani, his guitar concertos, his Grand Overture, his Variaciones Concertantes, his Sonata Heroica, most of his works, to me, are very similar to Vivaldi, another one of my dear friends. And I am forever grateful, and it's impossible for me to play their music without feeling gratitude that they existed.
You know, having been able to do music in this community for almost 3 decades now, I am often in wonder at how time and music work together to transform the relationships that we have with one another. So many doors are opened to building friendship and trust and kindness and loyalty and awareness in the time that music has given us together with one another. If that's in our concerts, if it's in our classrooms, if it's in playing music together over time, or if it's just enjoying music together.
Matt, I have to tell you that one of the things I'm very grateful for is the work that you have done, do, and continue to do. And how you have taken different aspects. You've taken music, and you've taken the suffering of young kids. And you've brought music to alleviate their suffering. And you've been able to see results. And I am forever grateful to you for doing that. For that is the most beautiful thing. And I myself have seen the effect that music has on the injured, on the suffering, and on those that need some love, and some support, and some encouragement.
Thank you.
And you do that.
Thank you so much. You know, I think about that feeling of gratitude, the way that it inspires us to act. We have a number of young people that are getting to work with you right now this week and this year. And I think about the energy that exploded inside of them when they found out they were going to have this opportunity. And when they discovered the music that they were going to play, I think about how and the expressions that they've had of gratitude to me for the opportunity that have turned into their energy and their time to prepare and study and practice the way that they have. It's amazing how those feelings of gratitude can actually transform us on a large scale, and how motivated we are to do a big project, or how it can just change our mood from one moment to the next and the way we feel in our body.
And last night, listening to their performance, as we introduce each other, them to me and I to them, and the incredible amount of hard work, but passion and love that they demonstrated. And I'm very excited to experience this and then to end it with a performance together with them.
Yes. I wanted to go back. You were talking about your mother and her love of literature and the gratitude that she had and shared with you and others for authors. I had never met your father, but everything
you would
that
have
I've
loved him,
seen,
and he would have loved you.
I believe you.
Yes.
I believe that. Everything that I ever have seen of him in film, in his music,
Yes.
and what you have shared, there was a joy in him,
Yes.
from what I could gather. And you've described a little bit of the darkness in the past, and I often think about gratitude and joy as being a choice that people can make or a direction that people can be drawn to. It's not always the case, especially coming from a place of trauma or difficulty. But it sounds like your father was drawn to that place, had that in his spirit, and shared it with you.
My father was drawn to that all his life. And he was incredible in any experience would become either a piece of music or a poem.
Wow.
My mother used to say that when my brother Celine was being born, at the time of his birth, it was the 23rd of November of 1936 in Malaga, Spain. And while he was being born, Malaga was being bombed by 9 German planes trying to destroy Malaga.
Wow.
It took 3 years after that to really be able to take it, but Malaga fought very hard. But as the bombs were falling, Celine was being born. My father first had to go and search the doctor, make absolutely sure the doctor didn't want to leave his house, that he would come back with the doctor. Once he has the doctor there and all of this was going on, my mother used to say, guess what he was doing? He was making a transcription of Cádiz by Albéniz. On the last days of his life, he and I had an opportunity to talk a lot. And he believed that if a musician is working in any way with music, the spirit of that music is a prayer for safety, for a blessing. And he felt that Cádiz is such a peaceful, beautiful music, evoking tranquility and beauty. So actually, it was his way of praying and blessing that moment.
It's beautiful.
And he always was like that.
You know, it's interesting. I think we live in an information age.
Yes.
Where at our fingertips every day is news from across the world, often calls to action in one form or another.
Yes.
Often there's fear sprinkled into the headlines that we might read from one day to the next. And the thoughts and ideas are almost beyond our human selves. They're at 30,000 feet up in the air.
That's right.
For theories about reasons why we should do one thing or reasons why we should do another thing that seem beyond our neighborhood, beyond our spirits, beyond the relationships that we have, or even beyond our zones of influence. And I've often found that music, the act of sharing music, making music, is almost like a meditation on beauty for the sake of beauty.
Yes.
Beauty as this impermanent yet cosmic gift. And when we can give over ourselves to that practice, it teaches us what it means to be human. And when I think of your father doing a Cadiz transcription
Yes.
at a time of forces beyond his control,
Completely.
I'm reminded of that.
Yes. Well, music forces us to go, not only, we always talk about how music connects us to the cosmos and to the everlasting and to the beyond, but music also takes us to the depth of our being. So often, you were talking a minute ago about headlines, about the everyday bombardment that we have, threatening our human existence. But music connects us with our eternal being. And when we play, it's not, I mean, it's magnificent when we can share it with the audience, but it begins with the inner journey that you have with the music and yourself in the quietness of no one else is around you. And you become in an inner journey to that place where the fountain of love is. Whatever we have inside of us, we can call it a soul, a spirit, whatever we want to call it, but we all have it. And sometimes it's more difficult to access it than other. And the more involved we are with daily problems and with our difficulties providing with money and our jobs may be threatened, gasoline prices, we can't afford it, medical is non-ending for the majority of people. They face a very difficult time. And when that puts us completely in almost 100% perception of our human. And it's important to go and connect with our own spirit. With that spirit that was before we were born and will be after we die. And that spirit lives inside of us. And little things, when we see a child smile, it touches us there. Anything that provokes love touches us there. Music takes us there. The sense of vibrations when we hold the guitar. We are so mentioning one thing, grateful. I'm very grateful to be a guitarist.
Me too.
Because how many people can embrace the vibration, and when you pluck a note and the entire guitar vibrates and you feel it and you vibrate inside and it goes deep into the better part of ourselves.
It's beautiful.
We are always being connected to other parts of ourselves that is not necessarily being. the best of us. But music connects us to the best of us. So right from that is the beginning. From that, we can start trying to share it. But to take that inner journey is a wonderful thing.
I think of a child smiling and it touching us here. I think of the space between that beautiful occurrence and us feeling it in our spirit.
Yes.
I think of that highway as being gratitude.
That's
And
gratitude.
it's not the only highway.
No.
But it's one of them. It's one of the big ones that we can
It's
practice.
one of the big ones, yes.
And I guess my last question for you today is, for that person hearing this conversation who is thinking about maybe seeking gratitude in their lives, how does one do that? Is that just in one's makeup? Is that a practice in a day? Is it a choice that somebody can make? Is it an inspiration? How does gratitude manifest for you, or how do you encourage it from one moment to the next, or is it just innate?
I think awareness of the simple and beautiful things that happen to us, and that we let it go because we take it for granted. To become aware of that. And for that, I'm so grateful that I was raised with my mother and her love for literature, because that opened my imagination. And reading great books from the time I was a little kid. My mother, I was homeschooled by her. And she dictated Don Quixote, the book. That's how I learned how to write.
Wow.
And she used it to train me. But when I was 7 years old, we began, and when I was 12, we finished it. And she dictated the entire book to me and discussed the entire book. And to see the love stories in Don Quixote and the impossible love dreams that happen in that book, and how they all come to a resolution, a magical resolution, made me believe that every problem comes with a solution, and that we have to look for it. And that not to give up, to be patient, to search for the beauty of your own fantasy. And immediately it enhances itself, because you then are open to love your friends. You are open to love your family. You are open to help anyone who you can, and feel that the biggest gratification you get is your own gratitude of the joy of having helped somebody. So I think developing the mind through the works of the great writers, to take children to museums and let them see the world through the eyes of the great artist, and expose children to the world as told to us by the voice of the great masters of music, is a very, very strong way that we can face the problems and troubles. And that perhaps the more people that feel that connection to their inner self, the collective of all will make this a better place. I dedicate and I have my entire life dedicated every concert, every performance I've done, and every practice that I have done as a prayer and a wish for the end of suffering and to glorify God, the God of all religions and the God of all things and of all people.
Wow. That's beautiful, Pepe. Thank you so much. And you have spread that joy and that gratitude and that wish all around the world for a very long time for many people, and I'm included.
Thank you.
In our community. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you, Matt. Always a pleasure.